Since 1986, we have been conducting our biannual candidates night for the purpose of educating our members as to what candidates stand for and what they believe in. Tonight, we have judicial candidates as well as city council candidates. And it could be that some school board people may pop in on occasion here yet. Now, the judicial candidates will be leaving right after they give their speeches, and they've got to get to Hollidaysburg. So we'll be taking a break just for them to get out, and then after the council is done, we'll talk with them a bit, and anybody that wants a refreshment, they're up here to my right. The format is 3 minutes for each candidate, and there'll be one common question. The common question for the judges is, please tell us in a minute's time why you feel you're the best candidate for this position. And that will be your common question. Now, the council will have something else, and we'll get to that when we get to them. The first person that responded to me was Mr. Sisto, John Sisto. So if you would, John, come up.
Sir.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. I'm not used to being first. It's usually Judge Agner that's up here as we go through alphabetical. Well, given 60 seconds, basically here's what I want to say. I have been, sorry. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I've been a lawyer in Blair County for 30 years. I primarily practice family law and criminal law throughout that entire time period. I've had a relationship with not only law enforcement, but also the vast majority of the lawyers and the judges in Blair County. What I can tell you is, drawing off that experience, we have a situation in Blair County right now where there are 1,400 cases on our criminal trial list. When I started practicing, that number was about 275. What we see right now are cases that are taking literally months, even years, to be resolved in Blair County. We only have 3 judges. We're supposed to have 5, and we're trying to fill in blanks with senior judges. We also have a custody process which, quite frankly, simply does not work for the times. The volume of people that come in that have family law cases want to see a judge, and they don't want to wait 7 or 8 months to get in front of a judge before they get a decision. So what I did was, in essence, put a blueprint together of what can be done to separate misdemeanors from felony cases, to put those cases into a courtroom, to streamline those cases, to reduce that backlog. I've spoken with the district attorney who supports that process because he knows we can reduce the numbers if it's done in an efficient manner. I've also talked to numerous family law attorneys who, like me, practice in Bedford County, practice in Huntingdon County, and they understand the difference in the process when you file a complaint for custody and you go in front of a judge first, as opposed to going in front of a mediator and then another mediator and then the master and then ultimately ending up in front of a judge. People want to see a judge. They want an answer from somebody in a position of authority. My personal belief is that based upon 30 years of being in the Blair County courtrooms every single day, as well as the Bedford County courtrooms and Huntingdon County courtrooms, practicing in those areas, when you have 95% of your cases coming in front of you every week involving family law and criminal law, you need somebody on day one who's going to go in and they're going to make a difference in that docket, and they're going to make a difference in that process, and they're going to give decisions that are based upon the law that you've practiced for the last 30 years and implemented. My final statement would be this. My final statement would, unless I'm out of time, just basically, if the ceiling's caving in and it's caving in with water, you don't call the electrician, you call the plumber. You want somebody that's going to come in and fix it, and you want them to do it based upon the experience that they have. That's what I bring to the table, and that's what I'll take to the bench. So in essence, the follow-up is why I believe I'm the best of the four. The reality is over the last 30 years, I believe I'm the only candidate that's been in those courtrooms every single day. I go out there, I go into the Blair County Courthouse, I go into the courtrooms in front of every judge, I practice family law, I practice criminal law, I've sat through the criminal pretrials where there's 150 cases and you got 3 hours to pre-try them. I've sat through numerous custody conferences and going through the processes of not coming out with a decision and having clients tugging on me leaving the courthouse indicating, when do I get to see the judge? What I bring is that experience and that knowledge to go out there on day one, take everything I've done for the last 30 years in that very building on a daily basis, and simply go to the bench, put forth my ideas, put forth that blueprint, and make a difference in those individuals' lives on day one. Thank you.
Next up will be Helen Schmidt on behalf of Lou, who is, she'll explain why.
Thank you, and thank you all for coming this evening. Due to illness, Lou cannot be here tonight with us, and he has asked me to read this statement on his behalf. I apologize for not being with you in person, but I couldn't make it due to falling ill last evening. I'll talk first about my professional background and then my personal background. I've been a lawyer for nearly 40 years. I've tried more than 100 jury trials in state and federal courts here in Pennsylvania. I've been recognized by Law and Politics magazines as a Pennsylvania super lawyer for my work in the courtroom. I am certified in mediation and advanced mediation, along with being certified in family law mediation. I am also an arbitrator. Since 2018, I have served as state representative for the 79th Legislative District. As a lawmaker, I have written criminal law that is now followed by judges and lawyers throughout Pennsylvania. I'll go back in time a little to talk about my personal background. My paternal grandfather, Johann, left Bavaria in 1907 to come to America to work for Pennsylvania Railroad. He was a laborer in Juniata. My dad worked in Juniata as an electrician for PRR and was a member of the IBEW Brother. My maternal grandfather, Vito, worked for the Pennsylvania Railroad as a welder at the Samurai Shops in Hollidaysburg. I was born and raised in Altoona. I grew up on 4th Avenue on Dutch Hill in a union household. I grew up in the working class and remain rooted in the principles I learned as a member of a working class railroad family. I am proud to say that I'm a self-made man. Nobody has ever handed me anything. I have earned my own way in this world through the God-given gifts. I live 10 minutes from the hospital I was born in and 10 minutes from the neighborhood I grew up in. I'm invested in our community and our people. I was talking to a constituent recently, and she told me she would support me for judge if I would promise to continue as a judge to take good care of our community like I have done as a state representative. I promised her that I would, and I make that same promise to you this evening.
Okay, and the common question?
The common question, why is Lou best qualified? As he has said, he has over 40 years of court experience. He has experience with writing and interpreting the law. His personal experience with the rewards reaped when given the opportunity to show the success you can obtain through hard work and labor.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here this evening. I am standing before you as a sitting judge in Blair County. I'm a magisterial district judge out in Hollidaysburg. And at this point in time, after having served for almost 21 years in that role and considering it to be absolutely the epitome of public service, I'm looking to spend the next 10 years in a higher level of public service on the Court of Common Pleas. I'm the only candidate that has that kind of experience, but I will hearken back to my early days and as a public servant. I was a an assistant district attorney under Bill Haberstroh, and I prosecuted cases. I then went into private practice, and I spent, I'm going to say, about 13 years in the practice of almost exclusively family law. It was the general practice of law, but in Blair County, most of that is family law, as Attorney Sisto pointed out. So I'm extremely well versed in all of those areas. And in addition there too, I have spent the last 21 years handling cases in the Magisterial District Court. And for those of you who aren't familiar, and I hope it's all of you, the Magisterial District Court is traffic court. I have literally handled thousands of cases in traffic court, and those are trials. I handle non-traffic summary offenses, and that includes disorderly conduct, public drunkenness, harassment, things like that. I have handled I don't even know. I really haven't literally kept count of the number of civil cases. We have jurisdiction up to $12,000, and I've handled all of those civil trials. I've handled landlord-tenant cases, probably an equal number, and I have handled other miscellaneous cases, not in anywhere near the large numbers. But we're the primary. Magisterial district courts are the primary situs of the beginning of a criminal case. I've issued search warrants, arrest warrants. I have accepted criminal complaints for filing. I arraign those people. And in fact, I spent a good part of the past week doing that. Then we hold preliminary hearings. If we don't hold preliminary hearings, they're waiving the preliminary hearings. But it's an extensive amount of criminal law that I've been involved with over the past 21 years as a judge. But my strongest argument to you is that you're not, we aren't assuming some higher lofty position. You're hiring us for a job. And it's a really hard job being a common pleas judge. It's a type of job that requires experience. You wouldn't hire somebody who's just, not has the relevant experience for the job. It's a good argument to make because it's the right thing. Anytime you've ever applied for a job, what have you done on your resume? You've put down your name, where you live, what your education is, but you've put down your experience. And I'm telling you that my experience as a judge, do I just roll right into my experience as a judge is exactly what qualifies me to be the next judge of the Court of Common Pleas. Attorney Sisto talked about jumping right in. I'll jump right in with him, because I can believe 100% there's going to be a learning curve, but the learning curve isn't going to be as long with me, because I already know how to run that courtroom. I already know how to make evidentiary rulings. I already know how to deal with difficult parties, attorneys, et cetera, et cetera. I've been doing it for a long time. And so the reason why I'm the most qualified is because of all of those reasons, and I ask you for your support. Hire me. That's what I'm saying. Hire me. Thank you.
Mr. Rubano.
Thank you, Bob. Before I begin, I was before this organization on my last run 20 years ago. Other than Bob, was anybody in this room there then? Okay. We're the oldest ones in the room then, Bob. Hi. Thank you for allowing me to be here tonight. I am Mike Rooch, candidate for Blair County Judge. I've been a lawyer in Blair County for 30 years. I have spent most of my time in the state in administrative law courts, earning the rare distinction of being a certified specialist in workers' compensation law. I'm also an arbitrator in the Court of Common Pleas of Blair County. That means, with the approval of the court, I hear and decide cases where the amount in controversy is $50,000 or less, including appeals from decisions of magisterial district judges. In that role, that has given me experience in assessing evidence, making evidentiary rulings, and deciding controversies, just like I would be called upon to do as a Blair County judge. For the past 7 years, I've been honored to work at Quattrini Law Group, representing injured workers asserting their rights under the Pennsylvania Workers' Compensation Act. Many of these workers are members of unions. I have partnered with local union organizers and business agents to be the go-to attorney in workers' compensation in the area. My clients have been welders, machine operators, mechanics, nurses, and teachers, but they're also wives, husbands, mothers, fathers, aunts, and uncles. Their lives have been disrupted by work injuries, and after years of dedicated service and loyalty and seniority, they're suddenly pushed aside by their employers and insurance companies that see them only as a liability to a production quota. I recall a particular client who operated a metal cutting saw in a local factory. He blew out his lumbar disc and was compelled to see an insurance company doctor. The operation failed and he never regained the ability to return to his regular job. But another insurance company doctor examined him and said he was fully recovered and any ongoing residual disability was all in his head. He came to me confused. He had questions. His life was turned upside down. He needed someone on his side. And unlike the insurance company, I saw a person who needed help. We fought and eventually got to the point where he could settle his case and move on with his life. He and the union members that I represent are not fees to me. They're people who deserve to be treated fairly. I will act no different as a Blair County judge. I will treat all those before me with respect and kindness. I have experience doing it as an arbitrator and as a lawyer. I believe I'm the best candidate for Blair County judge because I have had a broad-based legal experience over the 30 years that I've been practicing. I've been at 3 firms here in Blair County. I have started over 3 times and got into it very quickly and built very successful practices. I'm a quick learner. I work very, very hard. This judicial term, it's not a 1 day, it's not a 1 week, it's a 10-year term. You are electing a judge for the long haul. And I've proven myself in the successful firms in my law practice that I'm in it for the long haul and can be successful in the long haul. I'm a quick learner. I'm a hard worker. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, judicial candidates. And at this time, if you folks are ready, we'll see you to the door. And thanks for coming.
Thanks for working with us.
Okay, thanks. Appreciate you coming. Tell Big Blue we're hoping he feels better.
Thank you, sir.
And thanks for doing it, Alan. John, nice to meet you.
It's nice meeting you. Thank you
Best
very
of luck
much
to
for
you.
having us. Thank you, everyone.
Good night. At this time, we'll call on our friends from Altoona City Council. First, I'll ask, are there any school board candidates in the room tonight? Okay, so we'll hear from them at the end of council. The very first one to respond was Dave Booterball.
We were all sitting there in suspense to see who responded.
And by the way, the common question for city council will be, what do you feel is the most pressing issue of the day for the city of Altoona? That's after your 3-minute deliverance.
I'd like to thank you all for the opportunity to be here tonight. And I'd also like to thank you all for the opportunity we've had over the years to work together and to make Altoona a better city. And I'm here tonight because I would like to continue that success. I am Dave Butterbaugh Jr., and I'm running for another term on Altoona City Council. I'm a land surveyor with over 35 years experience. I've worked in over 100 municipalities throughout the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and I've been able to bring the good ideas back home to Altoona, and I believe that has contributed to the betterment of our city. And that's why I'm asking for your endorsement tonight and for your vote in May and this coming November. I'm licensed in surveying in Pennsylvania and West Virginia, so I do get to see multiple commonwealths. Also, I would like to discuss Altoona then and Altoona now. When I first arrived on council, we were on the verge of bankruptcy. We had to go in and out of Act 47 in record time. It was never done before that in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And we have worked very well to support our first responders. We are a full service community, and so we are supportive of our firefighters, of our police officers, and also we have a full service public works department along with engineering and administrative staff. But most of all, it is the residents that make this city great, and I have been so blessed to have the opportunity to work with them over the years. I've always been transparent, responsive, and honest every time anybody's come to me and had a question, and I've always helped to the best of my ability. I have focused on housing, blight, crime, and the business environment, and will continue to do so. Altoona is a better place because we have worked together, and we will continue to improve it. Over the last number of years, we have been able to get things to the point where I truly believe over the next few years, we could see more improvement in this city, perhaps than we've seen in a long time. We are poised through the hard work of current and former mayors and current and former councils and the residents and you all to really see some excellent improvement in Altoona, whether it's our downtown or each neighborhood, as we have had opportunity to see things get better in this town. I'm privileged and honored to have been able to be doing this job. I like the work, I like the people, and I would like the opportunity to continue to serve on Altoona City Council, and that is why I'm asking for your endorsement and your vote. Thank you very much. And the common question is, what do you see as the most pressing issue in Altoona? I believe it is a combination of housing and getting blight under more control. And that is one of the reasons that I believe we have a real opportunity here to see improvement that we haven't seen, because we have been able to get state law passed through working with our state senators, state representatives over the years. And we are able now, already having one of, if not the best blight program in the state. And we are able to take those different tiers of ownership and improve things in that way. What do I mean by that? Well, you have your residential occupied residential units, which is owner occupied, and you also have the tiers of rentals. You have the landlords and the tenants that agree to keep things nice, clean, and orderly. And then you have, is that the minute already? I believe that's the most pressing issue. I'll continue to work on that. Appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Next, Bruce Kelly.
Did you call me, Bob?
I did.
You ready to go? Good. Well, hi, I'm Bruce Kelly. You need me to go. Oh, I need to get in frame and be on the mic. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I don't want to foul up the video. I'm Bruce Kelly. I'm currently on Altoona City Council, and I'm running for re-election. It's been my privilege to serve on council for a number of years. I love this town. I was born in this town. I was educated here. All 5 of my kids went to the Altoona Public Schools, and I'm fortunate I have one of those 5 kids is here in the area. She lives in Hollidaysburg with her husband. And I have my youngest set of twins, and yes, I have 2 sets of twins because everyone should have a hobby. Of my youngest 2, they're in their going into their last year of college, and my youngest daughter has said that when she gets her nursing degree, she'd like to come back. And boy, let me tell you, as a dad, that makes you feel good. That's a good feeling. And I want opportunities not only for my kids, but for your kids and your grandkids. And that's one of the reasons I want to run for re-election. I think there's some things that need to be done. I'm very excited about the new city manager that we hired, and I've been involved in a lot of searches for managers over the years, and I think we have a really good one. And I'm excited about him and what he wants to do and his hard work ethic. And if you haven't had a chance to meet Chris McGuire, I hope that you do. He's just a hardworking guy, and he really has fallen in love with this community, and I hope we can keep him here for a long, long time. The other thing, we've gone through and adopted now a new comprehensive plan altogether, Altoona. And the plan is, I'll tell you what, I've seen all kinds of plans over the years because before being on city council, if you don't know me, I worked for Congressman Schuster for a while, and then I worked for Bob Jubileer when Bob was our state senator. I've seen a lot of plans over the years. And this one's really good because it doesn't pull any punches. It talks about the good things and the bad things and the things we need to address. And there's a lot of things like improving our neighborhoods, improving just the whole look of the city. And the fact that really what we've done over the years is we've tried to maintain an even course by cutting costs. We can't keep doing that. And we need to put some money back in and invest in the city. And that also means hiring some more staff to get some things done across all aspects of the city services. We've really been running a bare bones operation. So I'd like to see that plan get implemented and some of those actions taken. It's been a great opportunity for me to serve. I've always been active in our community, and in fact, I'm not one of the judges, so when I leave, I'm not going to a judge's forum. I'm going back over to work at the circus at the Jaffa. I am not a clown. I am not being shot out of a cannon. Some of you may want to shoot me out of a cannon. I get that. That could be a great fundraiser, but I've always been involved in the community, and that's something that my parents instilled in me, and I've tried to instill in my kids as well. I'm done. I'm going to address the question, which was, would you mind repeating that? Because I'm getting a little older, Bob. And
Most pressing issue before the city of Altoona.
there's a lot, and it's hard to narrow it down to one. I mean, Dave addressed some of the things, and the comprehensive plan looks at a lot of those. It talks about improving our neighborhoods and blight and improving housing stock in the city and the look of the city and trying to string together recreation activities. But I still think the number one priority, and I think the number one responsibility of any local government is public safety and keeping people safe, both with police and fire and our first responders. And all you have to do is look at the news recently. We've had some really bad fires in the city, and I can't thank those guys enough for all they do. And I think public safety still has to be, people need to feel that they're in a community that's safe. And I think that is the number one thing. And I think that's our number one responsibility that we need to address. Those first responders, when someone's shooting, they're running in, I'm running out. When the house is on fire, they're running in, I'm running out. And God bless them for what they do. Thank you so much.
David Ellis?
Thank you, Bob. I'm Dave Ellis, a current member of Altoona City Council. For 33 years of my adult working career, I was a union member, dues paying. The past 3 years on City Council, we have focused on eliminating blight and improving public safety. We added code officers and created positions in public works. These positions will enhance our fight on blight and to clean up our city. Nearly 70 blighted properties have been demolished. We increased the police department numbers and stopped the descending numbers in the fire department. All moves to improve public safety. Altoona has a new 10-year comprehensive plan, as has been referred to by the other two candidates. It is a clear blueprint to improve our city. A plan to address blighted properties, housing construction and rehabilitation, replacing streets, sidewalks, and curbs. The plan recommends continued improvements in recreation, to increase city staffing levels, and to make solid financial investments in our community. We did raise taxes, not to create big government, but to invest in our city. Adding positions to directly impact blight allow for the development and improvement of public safety. As we follow this comprehensive plan, we put our entire city in a position to be successful, improving and expanding our housing stock, making our city a place for young people so that they can live and raise their families safely. My record is clear. We keep the thugs and drug dealers out, eliminate blight, get new houses built, get houses rehabbed, continue to improve our recreation, rebuild streets, sidewalks, and curbs. The partnerships with the Pennsylvania Office of Attorney General, the State Police, the District Attorney's Office, and Operation Airtown are vital to keeping our community safe. Working closely with the Redevelopment Authority, we are following the direction laid out by the comprehensive plan. For several years, Council has been improving recreation throughout our city to include new playgrounds, trails, and a commitment to rebuild Prospect Pool. We will continue to invest in recreation. In closing, other candidates claim what they may do if elected. We are already getting things done. Please look at my record, my leadership, and my commitment to our city. I thank you for your time and appreciate your consideration for your support. Regarding the biggest issue facing the city, I believe it is twofold. It's blight and housing, but I'm going to go with blight because it affects almost every department in our city. The police have to deal with incidents that happen in blighted properties. Many times the fire department has to deal with what happens in blighted properties. Codes is constantly dealing with what happens in blighted properties. But most importantly, the neighbors are impacted by the blight in these neighborhoods. The comprehensive plan says that a block that has 2 blighted houses on it, if those 2 houses are removed, there'll be up to a 30% increase in the value of the remaining homes on that block. That is significant, and that is a responsibility that we have to make sure that we put money back in the pockets of the people that have invested. And many people have invested in their neighborhoods only to have dumps nearby, and we're taking care of that. Thank you.
If I could, the 2 school board candidates. I'm sorry, Devin Saylor, I apologize. I want them to come up after you're done, but Devin, please. And is it Corinna that's here tonight? Corinna? Okay. You'll be next.
Can I make one appeal to the moderator? My family is just about to walk in that door. Can I give them a minute to walk out there? They might be lost.
Have your friend.
Seek them out. Okay. Gotcha. No worries. Wow, no suspense there. If someone were to ask me why I'm the best candidate for Altoona City Council, I would tell them that I'm not. Not because I'm not a great candidate, but because to me there is no such thing. Because Altoona City Council is a governing body. It is about the individuals that serve on that council and how they work together to get things done. Their individual perspective, background, and experience. So what's my background? What's my experience? What do I bring to the table? Well, I've worked in digital content media marketing for 10 years, which some of you might be looking at me saying, what the hell does that have to do with city council? And I would tell you that basically my job for 10 years was to learn about very complicated topics, industries, products, and communicate those products, industries to people. Learn about something in a very short amount of time and explain it. In addition, I work for the Blair County Assessment Office currently, which I'm responsible for the fair market value assessment of 20,000 parcels across 10 municipalities, which means I have a very in-depth understanding of property tax assessment at its most finite level. And of course, I served on the City of Altoona's Planning Commission for 2 years, overseeing commercial land development in that time. I was the youngest person appointed to that office, and you can thank Matt for that. Look, the City of Altoona's comprehensive plan has one central priority, and that is the attraction and retention of young people to the area. My vision for the City of Altoona is one that embraces change with a positive attitude that is made unique by the people we have here, where if someone, especially young people, raise their hand, they are called upon. Where we invest in our neighborhoods, our parks, our businesses, and our workers. I'm sincerely thankful for all my friends and my neighbors and my family that are here tonight. They aren't here, however, just because they believe in me, but because they know that I believe in them. If this city is authentically interested and focused in attracting young people to this area and engaging them locally to want to stay here and feel as though they are part of something bigger than themselves, yes, it's going to take housing development. Yes, it's going to take investment. Yes, it's going to take sacrifices. But truly to retain young people, it's going to take a candidate that I think embodies the hopes and aspirations for the future of this city and its most valuable asset, its people. In this one regard, there is simply no other candidate, I believe, more qualified and determined to help the city and the council to accomplish this goal. As for the question, what do I think is the most pressing issue at the city? I think a lot of these guys here just spoken have touched on many things that I think they're part of the broader umbrella. I have really focused on the attraction and retention of young people. But many of the core concepts of the comprehensive plan talk about how to attract the people, how to keep them here. We need to provide both affordable and desirable housing. We need to take care of blight so we can actually create the space necessary for new development here, as well as for the flexibility for different land uses within the city. We need good public safety, obviously, because we want to protect everyone here. But I think more importantly, because this is, getting young people in areas like ours isn't just a problem here. It's a problem across the state, as far as I'm concerned, demographic change. So we must work proactively in the community to uplift our young people and get them involved and communicate with them to get them more acclimated to city government and what possibilities they have to them and afforded to them here. Thank you.
Karina?
Oh, my shoes untied. Sounds about right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Karina Griffith. I am running for Altoona School Board. I just wanted to give you a little bit of background on myself. So I was born and raised here in Altoona, Pennsylvania. I did a little hiatus in Philadelphia. Big mistake. Came home. I did a year and a half there for education, but I got my nursing license at the GACTC, and I've been a nurse for almost 13 years. After that, from doing service for our community, I decided I wanted to get my therapy degree. So I have a master's from Holy Family University in Mechanicsburg, and I actually get to use that every single day working in the community. Whether I'm doing nursing or as a therapist, I get to work with the children. That is my biggest goal. And whenever I'm actually at work, I deal with children every day that tell me they're being bullied, they're having issues, teachers aren't hearing them, they're not learning. And that's one thing that concerns me. My kids come in there, and for that hour, that's my child. I listen to them, I hear the grievances, I see them cry, and it breaks my heart that whenever I was in school, I didn't have these issues, not as pressing issues. These children are dealing with every single day. Someone's either bothering them, pestering them, they're not learning, they're not being able to be heard. And every time that they come in there, they're being heard for that hour. And that's important. These kids need to be heard. I get it. They're under the age of 18. They can't vote. They can't do a whole lot, but they can come into therapy and work on themselves so they're a better version of themselves. And that is so impactful that they're able to come in and speak their minds. That's something I want to instill in my kids that come in there. I always get the thing, well, you're not a mom. You don't have kids. I have about 35 children that are not mine, not by blood, not by choice. And man, I will definitely stand up for those kids. If there's something that they need, I have no problem saying, hey, let's figure this out. Let's talk to mom and dad, talk to your grandparents, whoever your support system is. Let's talk to them because you are important. And that's what I want these kids to know. And if I can't instill that in myself, I had to think of that myself when I was a kid. If I didn't want to stand up for me, who's going to stand up for me anyway? And thankfully, I had parents that actually did that. My parents are pretty tough individuals, and I'm glad that they raised that and instilled that on me. I would love to be able to do more for the school board and get involved and show my expertise in all the different areas. I've worked everywhere from the beginning of life to helping women have children to the end of life where I'm assisting somebody while they walk out the door into the next part of their life cycle. And especially the one area I did the most time in was in prison. I was a corrections nurse, and I absolutely loved it because I was able to make an impact on certain people. And that's what I'm doing now with these children to hopefully prevent them from going to jail and doing things that are against the norm. and hopefully keep them into the right side of the system and do something for this community. Thank you all for having me here, and have a good evening. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Kyle Siscon Leonard, and I'm running for the Altoona Area School Board because I believe that we should have leaders who put our students, our educators, and our parents first. Our schools should have a strong curriculum. They should have transparent leadership. And as a housing case manager, I work one-on-one with the most vulnerable neighbors. I work with families with homeless children that are homeless with children. I work with families who are facing an eviction, that have nowhere else to go, who are facing a utility shutoff, that have food insecurity, all things that affect the children at their day-to-day life at school. I understand the challenges that these families face because I get to listen to them every day, and I help them navigate the resources that are available to them in our community. As a school board director, I will fight for policies that not only keep our schools safe on the outside, but on the inside by addressing issues like bullying and by providing support for students that go home or are affected by substance use disorder themselves. I will push for a curriculum that not only prepares our students for the real world, but for college, trade school, general workforce. One of the biggest things that I wish that I would have gotten when I graduated in 2017 was financial literacy. That's one thing I teach now at Community Action, but that's a huge issue I see with our families. There are a lot of families that don't know how to manage their money. They aren't taught that. Now, fortunately, in 2 years, these schools do have to have that in place, but we should have had that a long time ago. I'll ensure that every decision that I make is ethical, clear, and is driven by what's best for our students, our parents, and our educators. We need a school board who has leaders that act with integrity, who listen to you and actually take action based on what you're saying, not special interests, not political views. Students should not be politicized, and I hope that I can count on your support to be that the leader with integrity that fights for what's best for you. So again, my name is Kyle Siscon Leonard. Thank you all for being here and giving me the time to speak. I really appreciate it. If you want to talk to me, feel free to. I don't bite, so thank you.
I believe that's all the candidates we have for tonight, folks. So we'll take 5 minutes here and recess, and then our delegates will take time and vote, and we'll try to come up with some endorsements this evening. So with that, thank you very much. Thanks for coming.